Whoa, hello, we are heading right into this. Welcome to UBL Week 5 against Seamus, aka Irish Emerald. We are leading off with Bisharp as he leads off with Rotom. It doesn't look very favorable for us, but we are a Focus Sash lead, which is putting us in a great position right at the start in order to just get our Stealth Rocks up. Plus, knowing how Irish plays, I know that he's not going to see a Nidoqueen in the back and decide to Volt Switch on this turn, expecting my switch out. But I do stay in since I am a Sash lead and get my rocks up, which is going to be really nice to chip things like the Landorus, the Lele, all of these things that are really important. I have a very, very offensive team this week because my matchup is 100% the worst matchup I've had this entire season. I just don't have a swap into this Barraskewda. I don't have sufficient swap ins to Lele. Basically, I just really have to stay in with my Mons and try and break shit with them before he breaks me. So that is the goal of this team, just to be very offensive, very, fast-paced, and we're going to try and go for that this week. So we do go into Virilio, our Selgor. It would be really cool to U-turn this turn just because it kills the Barraskewda, and if you decide to switch something else in, we get fast momentum, so that's really great. But he does opt to swap out, even though the Barraskewda is pretty low, telling me that this probably has Defog in the back, and I'm looking at this, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I stop Defog? I figured out that my best option is probably just to try and break with Mew. Hydro Pump does kill a max HP variant of a Rotom Heat. I figured it would probably more likely be defensive, just because of Bisharp and wanting to take physical hits from Thundurus, since Thundurus doesn't exactly have any special ways to hit Rotom Heat. So I do end up going into Mew and just kind of cross my fingers and hoping the Hydro Pump kills. Unfortunately, these leftovers that I had not seen make that roll go slightly against my favor, except for the fact that it isn't really a roll at all. He actually did bring Spadef Rotom. So not what I expected, but it ends up working out for him here. But he really makes a risky play here by going for Defog, which I don't know if I would have been brave enough to do, because this Mew can very easily set up a Calm Mind or a Dragon Dance in your face. I suppose I could have set up an Agility myself, but I figured that breaking this was a little bit most important, but he does opt to Defog in the face of a Mew that he doesn't know very much about, but it ends up working out for him here, so it's pretty solid. I could have Agility on this turn, but I got a little bit too tunnel visioned on sort of attacking the thing in front of me and killing the Rotom and just kind of applying pressure via damage rather pressure via setup. Probably not the smartest idea. Now here, Agilitying definitely is something I was considering, but if he specs Moonblast and I click Agility, and then I click Sludge Bomb the next turn and don't kill, then I just lose my Mew for nothing. So I think about going for Agility, but if he isn't Shadow Ball or doesn't trigger my weakness policy, then it's kind of a waste. In this case, he does go for Shadow Ball, so Agilitying there would have been nice, but I still stand by the play because I just didn't know anything about this Lele. But yeah, we did get the poison there, pretty useless poison that didn't really mean much because Lele is basically dropping anything at this point, but I'm curious whether or not he stays in here. I think he's most likely going to stay in, so I do end up just going for the Psychic on the off chance that he swaps out, because there's no resists on the other side of things, so we just go for the Psychic. But he does stay in and gives the Lele, which is pretty nice because it frees up Primarina to do other things that it was originally tasked to do, to take on Lele. So Barraskewda comes in here. Here I'm trying to contemplate whether or not I want to stay in and sack this thing, or I want to go into one of my water types. My concern with going into one of my water types is that if he clicks Flip Turn here, which very well may KO the Mew, he just gets to bring in Rotom Heat again, and then there's this really annoying Volt Turn cycle that I basically just get caught in. So I decide to end up stacking the Mew here based on the play that he made. Obviously going into Wartortle would have been better, but hindsight's 20/20. He very easily could have gone for Flip Turn there, and then I would have been in a very bad position. So I do end up going into Wartortle, and yes, that set that you see there is Shell Smash. I decided to get a little bit gimmicky this week just because my matchup really was that bad. I did not have very good responses to any of his offensive threats, and I really just needed to gain speed control. This matchup was horrific. So yeah, when your dark type is a Lele and when your dark type and your steel type is a Bisharp, Lele teams paired with Barraskewda and crazy other momentum, his offense just out offensed mine. And in the draft analysis that Monte did, something he pointed out was that I essentially would just have bad matchups on paper just because of the offensive situation of if they out offense me. So this Wartortle does beat this Qwilfish 1v1, barring a Poison Jab poisoning on the first turn, and he gets the poison, which is super, super shitty because if he didn't get the poison on the first turn, it would have been a 3-hit KO rather than a 2-hit KO here, which would have allowed me to 3-hit KO the Qwilfish, which would essentially kill it, and I'd be perfectly comfortable trading it 1-for-1 because it would free up things like Chandelure in the back. So unfortunately, he does get the turn 1 poison in his favor. It's a 30% chance, so like but also at the same time, like, it's hacks. I'm going to complain about it in the sense that if it had just happened on the second one, I would have been okay, but it happens on the first one, so not ideal here, not ideal. Really unfortunate, but I'm just gonna go into Chandelure here now that this Quillfish is weakened, and I will go for the Shadow Ball. It should basically be claiming 1 Mon right now. I've basically gotten everything in range, and he's gonna have to start picking sacks to my Chandelure. So we did end up using Mew and Wartortle to break to make Chandelure sort of clean in the end, quote unquote, but the issue with this is that there's still a full health Landorus Therian in the back, so as well as a Fracture, which is another interesting thing that I gotta take down. But yeah, there's a Landorus Therian in the back that is going to be really, really, really difficult to work with. But he actually goes into Barraskewda here, probably trying to scout if I'm Scarf or not. It makes sense to me because Barraskewda doesn't have a ton of utility for the rest of the game here. So I am just going to go for Shadow Ball and take out the Barraskewda, which confirms to him that I am Choice Scarf. So definitely worthwhile. Very interesting to me that he didn't have Aqua Jet on this set, because I assumed that he would want to out-prioritize Lycanroc. I suppose he could have had Aqua Jet and just didn't click it there, but I would think it's a good click if he had it. But yeah, he doesn't have Aqua Jet on this. So he goes in the Landorus, and I'm put in this awkward situation where if I swap out and he Rock Polishes, I essentially just lose. So I basically have to Shadow Ball here, and then hope that instead of Earthquaking, he goes for Rock Polished, which would be the perfect scenario to bring in a Selgor on the Earthquake that he's going to click this next turn, and then click Water Shuriken. Now, yes, I have Water Shuriken on the set. It was a last-minute add, and I was very, very glad that I did it. So I get to go into a Selgor here and take the Earthquake. Now, Water Shuriken is, of course, risky. If I get 2 hits, I don't kill. If I get 3 hits, it's a roll, and 4 or 5 will kill. But largely, this is in my favor, and we get 1 hit, we get 2 hit, and that's it. And yeah, so our luck in this game has been really bad between that Sludge Bomb Poison and these Water Shuriken hits. Had I just gotten 3 with the roll, or 4 or 5, I would have been a lot better, and unfortunately, I don't. So that's not ideal, but here we are. So we are just going to go for a flip turn here. Ironically, I've been bringing Aqua Jet literally every single week except for this week. If I was Aqua Jet this week, I would have been in such a much better position, but unfortunately, I do have to take this damage on Primarina, which is really shitty, but I do get the flip turn off, so at least there's that. He now has the option to go into his Fracture or his Quillfish. I upped a flip turn there. Perhaps I should have gone for Moonblast, but I assumed he would go into Quillfish and then click Poison Jab. I guess I could have then gotten my Chandelure in and clicked Shadow Ball. That would have been an interesting way to play out this endgame, but I guess my gut at the time just said flip turn. And when you're in that moment, you know, at least my mentality was that if Fracture was Poison Jab, that was another thing too, that, you know, he could have just brought that in, clicked Poison Jab, and KO'd my Primarina, and then, you know, Chandelure wouldn't be able to beat it 1v1 or something like that. So we do go into Chandelure, is what it is, and take the Stomping Tantrum, which will do a lot of damage but not kill me, and kill this Fracture right back. So the game comes down to whether or not Quillfish has Aqua Jet, and Barraskewda didn't have Aqua Jet, which was the mon that I thought would have Aqua Jet because it out-prioritizes Lycanroc. So I don't expect this to have Aqua Jet either, especially with Psychic Train, and he takes such a long time, but he actually does have the Aqua Jet, which he said after the game was for Chandelure, but it's a bring that I don't really understand, but it ends up working out for him, at least in the sense that it's very strange to me that he had Aqua Jet on Quillfish and not the Barraskewda. At least he didn't show it on the Barraskewda, when, you know, I think Aqua Jet just makes a lot more sense on Barraskewda this game, but it ends up working out for him, and unfortunately I don't have Psychic this week, and yeah, we are going to lose this game. Actually, Primarina clutch, living on 1 HP, not that it matters. I could have Ice Beamed here for the freeze, but it doesn't end up being like the right way to go about this. He takes quite a while here for some reason. He very easily can just click a move and take me out, but he makes me wait for my inevitable demise, which is mean and evil. So whatever. I don't actually mean that. Good job to Irish Emerald this week. Another just situation this week where I think life got the best of me a little bit, and I think I became a little bit too I overthought this matchup quite a bit, and I think if I had just brought a little bit more normal stuff, I would have been in a little bit better of a position, but at least I can say, hey, I brought Shell Smash wartortle this season, and it's totally worth it. So we do fall to 2-3, which is horrific compared to our undefeated run last season, but like I said, I'm just trying to take these games a little bit more calmly and a little bit more, laid back, so I wanted to bring some fun stuff. If it ends up becoming a case where I start needing to win out for playoffs, I'll start kind of try-harding again. But for now, just bringing some stuff that I want to bring and seeing how it goes. So sorry for the post-com. I wasn't a big fan of how the live-com turned out, so I decided to do a quick little post-com here. But yeah, good luck to Irish Emerald the rest of the season. He moves up to 2-3 as well. So there's a lot of people 2-3 in this league, a ton of people 2-3. So we're not out of it by any means at all. So I will see you all next week when we go up against Grandmaster D-Ray. Hopefully it'll be a live com then, and I will see you all later.